We will begin with the writing part. The question 1 is about polynomials. We are to factor them and also use formulas and simplify them. Here we have simple factorization. We just use the distributive property here. Now you can see there's 7x and 49. We need to get them factored. How we can do is, see now x is only in this first term. There is no x over here, so you can't do anything with x. But look at the number 7. This 49 can be written as a factor of 7 in the sense 49 equals 7 times 7, isn't it? So this is what we will do. We'll write 7x, let's write a bracket, just to show that this is a common term. Now plus, you can write 7 times 7. What is it? 7 times 7 is 49. The same thing I've just rewritten like this. Now whenever you have common terms like this 7 and 7 is common here, can be removed outside. And then what does remain inside? If 7 is taken off from here, only x is remaining plus 1 7 is remaining. So this is the factored form using distributive property. Now if you multiply this inside, look at this, it'll be 7x plus 49. 7 times 7 is 49. We get the question. They're just 2 steps. Because it's writing, I'm doing the 2 steps. Otherwise, you can just do it in mind. Okay, 7 is common. I remove 7 outside. X is remaining. 49 divided by 7 would be 7. So this is it. Now here, we cannot take 8 outside because, there's 6. Whenever we remove a term outside, it must be a whole number like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You can't have 5.5. You can't do that. So if you take 8 here, it'll be less than 0. It'll be less than 1, 0 point something. No, we can't do that. We need a whole number. So 4 cannot be removed. 4 also cannot be removed out because 8 equals 4 times 2, but not over here. You can't get a factor of 4 to get 6. Now what we can do is we can take out 2 or write in terms of 2. See, 2 times 4m will be 8m because 4 times 2 is 8. We can split it. And this is an even number. Even this can be written as 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And you can just remove this 2 common out. You'll have 4m minus 3. This would be the factored form. Even over here, there is only a squared here. There's no a, so we can't take a outside. But phi can be removed out because the first term can be written as phi times a squared minus phi times 3. And when you remove out phi, you will have a squared minus 3. That's it. That would be the answer. So this is how simply we can use distributive property and solve these terms. Let me quickly do this. Now, I wouldn't be doing all the steps, but I'll just tell you which are the factors over here. When you see the multiples of phi, it's very easy. There's no way you can take out 10 from 25, but you can take out phi. So phi would be common outside. Over here you will have 2, and there is also q. See over here, q and q. So what I need to do is, it's not just phi, it is phi q that is removed outside. So you're remaining with 2 because q is gone. And over here, you will have phi gone. Phi times phi is 25, but there is q power 2. So if you have removed 1 q outside, there's 1 more remaining. That's it. Here you can see there's a. Now this, when you write it out, you can write it as ab squared. That's the first term, plus a is removed out. What will remain? If it's nothing, it's 1. Because a multiplied by 1 is a. Now, you might be tempted to write 0. Okay, this is gone. There's nothing. 0. No, it doesn't make sense. Because if this was 0, your entire term would be 0, isn't it? It is a times 1. So whenever you remove a as a factor, you're remaining with ab squared plus nothing is 1. Now over here you can see there are three terms, and x is common in all, so x is removed outside. Nothing remains, that's 1 xy plus x squared y power 2. That's how we do this. And over here we can see it's again 3 terms. P is common outside with all the terms, so you'll have 3pr squared plus 6r plus 1. And over here you can see there is numbers 4, 16, 12, all are multiples of 4. And then a is also common with everyone. So 4a is removed outside. You're remaining with ab squared only because 4 is gone and 1a is gone. A1a remains and b squared. Plus 4 is gone out of 16. So 4 times 4 is 16. So 4 remains. A is gone and b. cannot be taken out because there is no b here. So it's only a and 4. So 4 is gone, so it'll be 3. Basically, you have to just divide 12 by 4, you'll get 3. Or you can see like this, 4 times 3 is 12. And a is also outside. So that's it. So that will be the answer. And over here we have 2 only common because the least number, it must be common in all the 3 terms. So 2 can be removed out. What about h? Yeah, h is also gone out, and n. And when h is gone, there is over here 5 h power 2, and 1 n is gone. So because this is n power 1, so you're remaining with n power 2 as well over here, minus 2 is gone, h is gone, and n power 1 is remaining over here, plus 7 only. So these are the answers over here. Let's look into the solutions. All the math steps are done over here. You can follow them. Here you can see there's an extra step, removing the common term, then you're removing it outside. So you're splitting it out, writing in terms of factors, and then you're removing the common term out, right? It would be highly desirable if you can write the step, but even if you write the final answer, it must be okay. Now we will go to these type again. It's the same thing. Here you can see it's 12 that is common outside, and then we have a and b. Sorry, it's 12ab that is removed outside, and you're remaining with 4ab minus 1. That's it. So if you multiply this term which is taken outside to the factors inside, you must get the given question. And yes, over here this will work. Now, if even over here, see now here there is not 6. Okay, 3 is a factor. 3. And what about the other alphabets? X squared not there. Why? See now you cannot take any of these letters. Why? Because X is there in this and last, whereas Y is there only in these two and W is only in the last two. So that's it. You're remaining with 2x squared Y minus 7y squared W plus 8xW. So this is it. Now whenever you have four terms like this, it changes. See now the first two problems over here with either 2 terms or 3 terms, we just simplify it like that. Okay, there's nothing much you can do. But what happens when you have 4 terms is you need to be a little bit careful, because see x is common in these both, and over here this is already simplified, there's nothing, so you can leave it. But let's try removing this x only out of the 2 terms. So what I'm basically doing is I'm gonna make this as a group and then this as a group. Let's solve one by one. So if I remove 1x outside from here, what is remaining? X plus 3 remains. Plus, what can be removed common? Nothing can be removed. In that case, I'll just write 1 because there's nothing removed outside. X plus 3. Is that okay? Now, why am I doing this? See, this is like if I multiply x inside, I'm going to get these 2 terms. If I multiply 1 inside, I'm going to get these 2 terms. It's balanced. I've done nothing wrong. The equation is balanced. But here, if I write this in another way, instead of x plus 3, let x plus 3 equal to a. Okay, imagine x plus 3 is a. So over here, what does it seem? X multiplied by a plus 1 multiplied by a. Can I remove this 2 term common out, a and a? Yes, of course I can take a outside, and what will remain is x plus 1, isn't it? The same way I can remove this term x plus a. Now instead of a, I'll substitute back x plus 3. See this one, I'll just change wherever x plus 3 was there, a was there, I'll put x plus 3. That was the thing. Okay, that's this question itself. Now I'm going to remove this term outside x plus 3. So what does remain? This is gone, and you're remaining with x plus 1 only. So this is how we solve this particular problem. Let us look at the next problem as well. Over here, you can group them differently, or I'll just take these itself, okay? These two, and over here these two. What is common over here? I can just take x over here, and what remains is 2x minus 5. Now, what is the common term I can remove from here? You can't take 2 because 15 is not divisible by 2, but I can take 3 outside. So what remains? 3 is gone, it'll be 2x minus 5. Now 2 minus x and minus pi and 2x minus pi is common again. So I'm going to remove that term outside. 2x minus 5 multiplied by what remains is x plus 3. That's the answer. That's the factors. Let's do it again. Here I can see 3 and 6, so I'll remove 3 outside. N I'll remove it outside, so I'm remaining with n only plus 2p. Why? Because over here 3 is gone, so 2p. Now here I will remove minus because I want it in positive. Remember, this term must match here. Whatever you're removing doesn't matter, but this, whatever remains, must be the same thing. Now it's plus here and minus minus, so always remove the negative term. In such cases, I remove the minus. So what else? P is removed. So you're having only n, that's positive n because minus is gone and p is gone. And here minus is gone, so it'll be plus, and p is gone, it'll be 2p. See, these both will match. So what you can do is the final answer, write that whatever is inside the bracket and what's remaining here outside, 3n minus p. So these are the two factors. That's it. Now what about over here? So here you can see this one, usually you will have whole numbers, right? But let's look at the problem properly. Here you can see it's 0.15. So here we have 0.15, 0.5, 1.2 and everything, right? In such cases, we can use a thumb rule. Whatever, because there's decimals and you might get confused, whatever is this first number, just remove that outside. So in this case, for the first two, I'll just remove 4. And I'll take x because x is common. My goal is to make the first term x, that's it. Because if I remove 4 and x, only x will remain, right, from x squared. So x is gone. Now, how do you do this? Here, all you have to do is basically divide this by 4. So it is 1.2 divided by 4. You just use a calculator. 12 by 4 is 3. Since there's a decimal, it's 0.3. Now, the answer is only 0.3 here. Now, what about this right side? Remove whatever this coefficient of x plus 0.5, just take it outside. What happens is x minus, it should be 0.3 here. But anyways, we'll check in calculator, or you can just do it over here. Divided by 0.5. So I will just take... okay, this is 15, but yeah, it's 0.35 one time, 3 times, it's 0.3 itself. Okay, so the decimal point says 1 so you already put the decimal over here. That's the answer, isn't it? So here both the sides matches. Now you can take out x minus 0.3 outside, and then you will have 4x plus 0.5. That's the remaining answer. So just remember here, whenever you have decimal points or problems like this, try to remove whatever is at the first term, and whatever you get, just leave it like that. Okay, now here it will match. The questions will be given such that they'll match, they'll not give otherwise. So that's how we can solve it. You can see all the solution sets here. So that's how we do the last one. It's minus, right? Yes, correct, that's the answer. Now these are pretty straightforward. Even these are again similar. So what we need to do is we need to group any two terms. What I'll do over here, 3x is removed out and y can't be removed. You're remaining with 3x only minus y. What about over here? Over here we can remove only 2, yeah, and you will have 3x minus y only because 2 is gone. And now see this, whatever happens, these two will match. It'll be 3x plus 2. I can write it either way. I can write these two terms first multiplied by 3x minus y. That's the answer. Now over here similarly 3 is common outside and there is x as well, and you're remaining with 3 is gone, x plus 8, and over here minus. See, in this case again, you need to see on the left side. See, only x is remaining, right? Whenever decimal point, remove that decimal altogether. Remove 1.5 minus 1.5. If you take out, what happens is here it'll be x. Okay, now one more thing, minus 1.5 is taken, so it's positive x, and this will become positive. Now what happens is we'll just divide 12 by 1.5. You can use your calculators here. 4, 5. If it's taken outside, then 4 by 5 is 0.8. But since there's, you have to multiply all the decimals over here, you have to just move this over here, right side. 8 will be, yes, it should be 8. Okay, it should match anyways. So now when we remove this common out, 8 plus x plus 8, you can write this first or second, doesn't matter, the other term will be so much. So this is how we do it. Now if you're thinking, oh god, it's too long video, please skip all this. If you have understood, I'm just trying to do all the problems in the writing part, that's why it's taking long. Here we have, again we have decimals. So what do? Whatever is this first term, you just have to take it outside and make this first term x. Now 2x is removed, so x is remaining minus. Now over here, divided by 2, it will be just 0.3 and x is gone. Now what happens here, you should take plus 3 outside. Why? Because you have to have x alone. Now this 0.9 divided by 3 is 0.3. And now x minus 0.3 is a common term, and you're remaining with 2x plus 3. So this is how we solve these terms. You can see these are all the answers. Now you can see over here in the middle one, the second term is written first and the first term is written second. That's absolutely fine. There's no problem in that, even over here, I believe. So these are the answers. If you can follow these all steps, then it's fine. But otherwise, whatever I've written over here, that's plenty. This is more than enough to get full marks as well. So then we will move to the next type of problems. There are 3 types here. You can see the first one was using distributive property. It's over. Now factoring trinomials, which are a squared plus bx plus c. Now this one over here, I'll do one problem properly, but then I will tell you the shortcut methods, okay? The calculator method, which most of my students generally prefer. So the actual method is, now when you have trinomials like this, you need to find factors to split the middle term, and then you factor it out. Then once we have 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, we know we just now factored it out, right, a while ago. So we do that. Then how do we split this? Because now there is no common in these 3. Now if there are common terms, then fine, you take out common terms. There's no common in phi or x, nothing. So what we do in such cases is, see these 2 terms, the first and the last, a and c terms. We multiply them. 5 times 24 is 240 by half is 120 here. So 120, and what is the middle term? Write it down over here, 34. So we need 2 factors, 2 numbers, such that when you multiply them, the answer will be 120, and when you add them, it will be 34. So now you need to think, they also suggest you can do a table and everything, but that is not required. Table is not required. As long as you know the factors, that's more than enough. Now only for this I'll let you struggle. You can pause the video now and just try to think of terms. I'll try it along with you. Now there's 120. So which are the factors of 120? I know 12 times 10 is 120. And how else can I get? I can get 20 times 6. Okay, that is fine. How other ways, 15 is divisible, right? So 15 times how much? 15 times 10 is 150. So it'll be 15 times 8, I guess. No, 15 times 75, 90. Yeah, 18. Okay, 15 times 18, right? 15 times 8. Sorry, my bad. And what else? Nothing is helping us because we need the number to be 34. So let's see now. These are not helping, right? Let's see the number. This is a 34, right? See numbers close to it. I'll try whole numbers very close to it. It's about 30. See, 30 times 4. Now this is the answer I know. I didn't know when I started solving, but I got to know when I was just doing over here. So 30 times 4 is also 120. So another way to see is, see the number close to this and check 30 times 4. Let's see. 30 times 4. Since it's both positive, it's very easy. 30 times 4, when you multiply, it's 120, and when you add it, it's 34. So we need to split this middle term. 5x squared remains as it is, plus 24 remains as it is. But here, the middle term is split into 30x plus 4x. This is same. Why? Because when I add them up, it'll be 34. Now, again, if you're not understanding this at all, don't worry. I will tell you a shortcut calculator method in which you can get all these terms. Okay? Now, after this, what do? Is you take the terms common. Phi is common outside. Phi and x, sorry. Your 5x can be removed common outside. So what is remaining is only x plus 5 is gone 6. And here you remove 4 outside, so x plus 6. Now x plus 6 and x plus 6 is common. And we have 5x plus 4 x plus 6. So this is the answer. This is the factors. Now they did not ask you the x value. If you want to find the x value over here, you just equate them to 0. So x would be minus 4 by 5 and x would be equal to minus 6. But this is not required. But the calculator method will give you this. But this is the answer. How I got this? Just equate this 5x plus 4 equals 0. Take this 4 to the other side. You will have 5x is equal to minus 4 because it goes to the other side, and x is equal to minus 4 divided by 5. That will be the answer. And for x plus 6 equals 0, x equals negative 6. So this is the method. Now you need to try and write this. But don't worry, I will tell you now an easier method. See, the textbook solution sets are very huge. They have lots of factors and everything. You don't need to do this all. You just have, if you write this much, it's enough. You can just check with your teachers, because I would definitely give my students full marks even if they have not written this. If they have just written this much, I'll be awarding them full marks. But some teachers may expect you to at least do not a table, at least these factors. So just check with your teacher, are they flexible, if this is okay. Now let me show you the easy shortcut method. We all need our calculators for this. Now here we did this by the manual method, but if you use a calculator, let's press mode, you get equation option, that's more than 5, and this is quadratic, that is option number 3, that's power 2. By pressing mode phi 3, you get this screen here. Then all you need to do is type in A, B, C values. A is the first term. See this phi. Whatever is the coefficient of the highest degree, that's x power 2. So phi is over here. What about the next term, 34, which is the coefficient of x? And last is just the number 24. We need to write it entirely. So now the answer which we get is x equals negative 4 by 5 and x is equal to minus 6. These two answers are very crucial. Now I'll clear everything over here. Let me just clear it off and let me show you how we can do the calculator method, like directly. So from this given question, you get these x values. Please don't write it up above, write it somewhere at the bottom. X will be equal to minus 4 by 5. X is equal to minus 6. Now from here, you're building it upwards. Now you can use some other place just to see what is the factor over here. Now, just beside, in a rough space, you can write this. X is equal to negative 4 by 5, isn't it? So 5 goes to the other side. So what happens is it'll be 5x equals minus 4. Now just don't take negative 4 by 5 to the other side. It'll be x plus 4 by 5. Don't do that. Take this divided by to the other side. It becomes multiplication. And now this negative 4 to the other side will be 5x plus 4. That's equal to 0, isn't it? Now this is a factor. We don't write equal to 0. We just want the factor. Whereas the next one, x minus 6 equals 0. So, sorry, x equals negative 6. Okay. This is wrong. It's minus 6 over here. So now what you do is take it to the other side. It'll be x plus 6. That's it. That's the factor. So now we will write these two factors here. 5x plus 4 and you have x plus 6. Now here you need to know the FOIL method, that's multiplication. This multiplied by this multiplied by this, here and here. Okay, so 5 times x will be 5x squared plus, then 5 times 6 is 30x plus 4 times x is 4x, and lastly we have the numbers 4 times 6 is 24. You got the statement right? Now here if you simplify this, you get the question. Don't do that. But what are the factors? The factors are always the terms with the x, the coefficients of x. Factors are 30 and 4. This is more than enough. If you write this much, you should get full marks, these three. But now they might be like thinking, okay, how did you directly get it? Like, I mean, you're not done anything, right? Of course, you can do this directly in mind as well without simplifying. If you want, you can write some extra steps. What extra steps? Now, say, for example, factoring out 5x and all that, what we used to do before, like trying to, make it a bit more. But this much should be more than enough. But what I would suggest is write like this over here and over here two numbers. What are these? This is very handy. This shows you at the right side, multiply the given question 5 and 24, that is 120. And here in the middle, write 34. I'm sure it's very hard to find the factors. You may not get it in your mind. But now from the calculator method, you easily know the factors. So write over here 30 and 4. If you write this, whatever I've written in brown color, and this much, it's more than enough. You are supposed to get full marks. You can even double check with your teacher. The reason I'm saying this is sometimes if your teacher wants a specific method, then they might expect you to write that same thing. But I would highly suggest you to go and speak over there. Ask your teacher, is this okay? And I'm sure 99% of the teachers will be absolutely fine with this method because this is absolutely valid. So let's work on these problems for a bit. Let me do another. See, that's the answer. Let me do another one. Now here we have mode phi 3, and then let's put in the coefficients 2, 19, 24. There is one thing you must always see when the question is any number removable, in the sense is it divisible by any number. Now this 19 is an odd number, so we cannot remove out 2, so nothing is divisible, nothing can be removed, so leave that. Okay, directly put it in the calculator. You get the answers here. X is equal to negative 3 by 2. And then there's one more answer because it's quadratic. There are two solutions. X is equal to minus 8. X is equal to minus 8. So how can we write the factor? Now directly you can do this. 2 goes to the other side, will be 2x, and 3 to the other side will be plus 3. This is one factor. X plus 8 is another factor. Now multiply here. 2x squared. Then over here with the 8 plus 16x. And then we have 3 times x, it's 3x plus 3x. And lastly, we have plus 24. Now it's not over. What you need to write is factors are 16 and 3. They're plus 3 and plus 16. Because when it's a minus sign, it changes. Okay, so it's better to write the sign as well. Now over here, you can do this simple demonstration to get the values. 2 times 24 is 48, and over here we have 19, so it's 16 and 3. If you multiply 16 and 3, you get 48, and if you add them, you'll get 19. I'm sure now it's very easy, but if you're directly trying to find the factors, it will take time, isn't it? So that's it. Let's try some other problems. Okay, this one is important. Why? Because here, when I look at the problem, I see there are all even numbers, so I can remove 2 outside. It'll be 2 times x squared plus 11, sorry, it's 2x squared. 2 times 2 is 4. 11x plus 5. Now what we do is we cannot simplify it further, and here we use the calculator. So let's take our calculators. Again, we do mode 5 and 3, and then type in the values. Only these inside values, 2, 11, and 5. And the values are negative half and negative 5. So x is equal to minus half, x is equal to minus 5. Now when we get them inside, this is, see, now don't take it as 0.5. Take it as a fraction itself. 2 goes to the other side, will be 2x. Then 1 to the other side will be plus 1. This is one factor, and x plus 5 is another factor. Now let's multiply. So here, okay, there's one thing to understand. This 2 which is removed out, right, will also be over here. This is also a factor. So this is one thing. Now if you put this entirely in the calculator, right, you will just get these two answers, but then it won't match the given question because your calculator, right, automatically will simplify this to the most reduced form and then solve for its solution. So this step 2 will be missing. So you must simplify it first and then use the calculator. And now here what we do, we multiply this 2 inside, it'll be 2x squared plus 10x plus, it's 1 time x is 1x plus 5. This entire thing will be multiplied by 2. See, now if you multiply by 2, you're going to get this. I mean, we added, yeah, this is the thing. So after this step, now you have to leave some space here. You have to write factors are 10 plus 10 and plus 1. Now here you can do this. 2 times 5 would be, sorry, 2 times 5 is 10. And then here we have addition would be 11. So now what would be the solution here? So here we need 10 times 1 will be 10 and the answer is 11. So this is the answer. Please don't do it directly from here. This is how we would do it. So this is the answer for this. Now similarly, you can say that's the answer. See, the final answer will always have this 2 common outside. 2 times 2x plus 1 and x plus 5. That's it. Now then over here, it's again, we have to remove the 2 term outside. We will have 2x squared plus, here will be 19x plus 35. And now we can put this in calculator. Let me do this quickly as well. Mod 5 and 3. We have 2, 19, and lastly we have 35. And the answer is negative 5 by 2 and negative 7. X is negative 5 by 2, x is negative 7, and over here we have, it'll be 2x plus 5, x plus 7, and then we multiply it inside 2x squared plus 14x plus 5x plus 35. And then over here we write factors are 14 plus 14 and plus 5. Now here don't forget this 2 because we have already removed it outside. First step is always checking whether there are any common factors. So this would be the solution. Now you can also write this over here 70 because it's 2 times 35 is 70, and over here it's 19. The factors would be 14 and 5. So 14 times 5 is 70, and when you add them up it'll be 19. So this is how we do this. The reason I will be solving everything in writing from calculator method is your solution set might vary slightly, so I'll just solve all these problems. Now if you're thorough with this, you can just skip ahead and move to the last topic. That is, in the question 1 there are 3 topics. That last one will be factoring binomial using formulas. So now I will continue with the next 11 questions, 25 to 36, in writing. I'll do them quickly because you already know them. Here let's do mod. Now there's no common terms over here. Mod 5 and 3, 2 minus 3, and lastly we have minus 9. And x is 3, x was 3, and x is equal to negative 3 by 2. So when we take this x inside, it'll be minus 3. This is one factor. And then over here, it'll be 2x plus 3. So let's multiply. It'll be 2x squared. X times 2x is 2x squared plus 3x minus, now over here, it'll be 3 times 2. It's 6x minus 6x minus 9. So now if you simplify this, you get the question. So we write the factors are, it'll be plus 3 and negative 6. So these are the 2 factors. Here when we write the table, you can also write it as 2 times 9 is 18. Now remember, this is minus, so minus 9 times 2 is negative 18. The signs are very important, and minus 3. So we need 2 numbers such that when we multiply, it's negative answer, that's negative 18, and when we add them, it must be negative 3. So whenever over here there is minus, that means only one of the factor is minus, these numbers, right? One will be minus, one will be plus. Because otherwise, if you have both minus, the answer over here will be negative, positive, or if you have both plus, it's positive. Only when one is minus or plus and other one is plus, we get negative like this. So anyways, we know it from the calculator. These are the factors. That's it. That's how we can get it. And so that's the answers. Let's do the next one here, mod phi 3. I won't be able to take any terms out because over here there's an odd number, then other two are even. 4 minus 13, and then lastly we have 10, 2 and 5 by 4. So x equals 2, x equals 5 divided by 4. So x minus 2 is one factor, and it's 4x, 4 goes to the other side, minus 5 is one more factor. Now what next? Multiply them up, 4x squared here, and then it'll be negative 5x minus, sorry, negative 2 times negative 5 will be now, oh no, sorry, I was confused a bit. So x times 4x is 4x squared, x times minus 5 is minus 5x itself. Okay, that's minus 5x. Then minus 2 times 4x is minus 8x. And lastly, we have minus and minus is plus 10. So this is it. Factors are minus 5 and negative 8. So here we can just multiply these two. It's 40 divided by 40 and negative 13. So we need either 2 minus or 2 plus, but since we have negative over here, it should be minus and minus, because when we add two negative numbers we get positive, right? So here what are the factors? It's 8 and 5. 8 times 5 is minus and minus becomes plus, and it's 40. Add them up, you'll have negative 13. So here you just add them up. Okay, so if you do this much, you are supposed to get full marks. Absolutely, that's the main thing. And that's the answers. What about this one? Let's directly do it. Mod 5 and 3. Now since 3 is odd and other two are even, you can't take any common term. It'll be 2, 3, and lastly we have 6. Okay, now look over here. You are having imaginary number I. In such cases, you don't have any factors. You don't write this answer, okay? Whenever you see this I, it's imaginary number. So that basically means it's prime. See, this prime means there's no factors here, okay? So how do we write it? I don't think so they'll give you this in writing, because then you can just write this is prime. This trinomial is prime. Over here it is prime because it has no factors that satisfy the conditions. It has no factors. You can tell it has it cannot be factored. Because it cannot be factored would be nice. You can write your own thing. Cannot be factored. It can't be factored. And then if you try to do it as well, 2 times 6 is how much? 12. Sorry, this 2 times 6 will be 12 and divide by 3. Can you multiply two numbers and get 12 and add them to get to a 3? Let's try. Factors of 12. I'll write all the factors of 12, starting with starting with 12 itself. I'll start 12 times 1, or 1 times 12 is one factor. Then let's half this 12. It'll be 6 times 2, or 2 times 6. Then let's try 3 times 4, or 4 times 3. Then if we go down, it'll be again 2, which are all mentioned, right? So these are all the factors. When we multiply these all numbers, we get 12, but let's add them up. Okay, let's add them to 12 plus 1. It's 13 here. 13. Let me even try negative and negative. It'll be negative 13. Doesn't matter. If 1 is negative, it won't be able, because this is positive. So it should be both minus, be minus 13. So here, when you add it up, it'll be 8. If it's both negative, it'll be minus 8. 4 plus 3 is 7. Now, what if they both are minus? It'll be minus 7. See, there is no way you can get 3 from these two factors, from the numbers which you multiply and get 12. So therefore, what you can say is it is prime. This cannot be factored, okay? So let's look into the answer. See, these are the factors they have given. 1 and 12, 12 and 1, it's the same thing. That's why they're not written it again. There are no factors with a sum of 3, therefore trinomial cannot be factored and it is prime. You just have to mention, most important thing, this is prime. Now what are this A, B and C? A is the coefficient of x squared, this is B and C. You can see in your topic details also they are mentioned A, B, C. Now let's do this problem. Calculator is a must. It's mod phi 3, phi 3 and 4. Now again, you're getting I, so that means this is also imaginary. I mean, roots are imaginary. That means this is a prime trinomial. Let's try the next one. It'll be 12, 69, and 45. Okay, now we have factors. So let's start writing it. X is equal to negative 3 by 4th. And then what is the next factor? X is equal to negative 5. So let's take this 4 to the other side. It'll be 4x plus 3. Because it's minus here, when it moves to the other side, it becomes plus. What about here? This goes inside. It'll be x plus 5. And now let's multiply. 4 times. No, okay, I just forgot to check for common terms. Now, wait a minute, guys. I can see there is 3 a common term. 3 can be removed as common. Why? Because 3 is divisible in 12. It's 4 times like square plus 3 10 times is 30, then it's 60 20, and 23 times is 69. And what about this? 15 times. 15 times 3 is 45. So this is very crucial. Now, doesn't matter even if I put this answer, the roots will be the same. Look here. Let me go mod 5 and 3. Let me now put, instead of 12, I'll put 4, 69, 23. And lastly, we have 15. The answers are the same. It's negative 3 by 4 and minus 5. Whenever the calculator solves it up, it will be simplified already. So now you must remember from the question to factor out the common term. And this 3 to be multiplied. Now, what happens here? We have to multiply 4 times x. That will be 4x squared plus 4 times 5 is 20x plus 3x plus 4 times 3 is 5 times 3 is 15. This all will be multiplied by 3. Now here we came to know the factors. The factors are 20 and 3. Both are positive. So here 4 times 3 would be 60, isn't it? So 60 here. And then over here we have 23. So it will be 20 times 3 positive, positive. So that will be the solution. And what about 38? So you can see that's the answers. 3 is very important to be removed common outside. Now here, since it's odd and even, no common factors, let's directly do mod 5 and 3. The first term is 4, then we have negative 5, and lastly we have 7. Okay, it's imaginary, so it's prime. Okay, we have to just write about its prime. The trinomial is prime. Mod 5, 3, we're nearly there. 3 minus 8, 15. Here, again, it's prime, okay? So this cannot be factored. You can write the given trinomial is prime, and hence it cannot be factored. Let's try this one. It's 5, 23, 24. Okay, here we are getting the answer. It'll be x is equal to negative 8 by 5, and x is equal to minus 3. Now here it'll be 5 times x plus 8 because this goes inside. That's one factor, and you have x plus 3. That's another factor. Now here we can't take anything common outside because 5 is a prime number. There's no way you can remove it common with the even numbers and odd. Now let's multiply 5 times 5 would 5x times x would be 5x squared plus 15x plus 8x plus 24. So it's 5x squared, 15x, 8x, 24. Now here the factors are plus 15 and plus 8. So here if you do 5 times 24, that is 120, and over here we have 23. You can get it by 15 and 8. So 15 times 8 will be 75, 90. Yeah, it's 120. And obviously it should be because we have got it from here, but just double checking. And when you add it up, it's 23. So that is the 32nd question. Now over here, it's better to put these arrows also, okay? This one. So this will be the factors. Moving ahead to 33rd, you can see that's the correct answer. We have again another similar problem. Let's do mod 5 and 3. And then what do we have here? It's 2, 3, and minus 6. So let's see the answer. Okay, now there is no I here. Don't think, okay, we will press SD, it's 1.137. No. This number which we are getting is irrational. Whenever we get irrational number, that is, it's prime. We cannot factor them. Whenever we have fractions, say minus 1 by 2, this is a rational number like 0.5. All the numbers in the previous cases, if you see properly, now here we got minus 8 by 5. That's a rational number. Why? Because when you press SD, it'll be stopping. It's not like irrational, it keeps on going. But here, if you see, this is an irrational number, so we cannot use this. See, whenever the numbers take such form with, radicals and all, and fractions, no, it is prime. Is that clear? Now, we have proved it before. We can even see this now. 2 times minus 6 is minus 12. And here we have 3. So try the factors of 12. Oh, here the factors are already shown. You try them. There is no way you can get two numbers. When you multiply, it'll be negative 12, and when you add, it'll be positive 3. There's no way. See, these are the things. The closest we come is 3, and then we are having 1, but they are not 3. So we cannot. So therefore, we tell it is prime. So we are inching very close to the final ones. Again, we have to take mode phi 3. Mode phi and 3 here. That will be 2 minus, sorry, it's plus 9 and minus 5. It's half and minus 5. So let's write it out over here. X is equal to half. X is equal to minus 5. Take 2 to the other side, will be 2x minus 1 equals, sorry, don't write that, equals 0. You have to just put the brackets over here. It'll be x plus 5. Then what else? 2x multiplied by x will be 2x squared. And then we have plus 5 times 2 is 10x minus 5. And this is it. What are the factors? Factors are 10, that is plus 10, and minus 1. If there's nothing, it's minus 1 basically. Now you can see over here 2 times minus 5 will be minus 10, and over here we have 9. Let's multiply 10 and minus 1. So you'll get minus 10 because negative sign is there, and add them up, it'll be plus 9. And that's it. So it's so easy with this calculator method. And here again, now see, this is also same. It's just that instead of x, your y. So do the same thing, mode phi 3. Consider this y to be x itself. That's absolutely fine. It'll be 2, then we have plus 1, and lastly we have minus 1. So what are the answers? Half and minus 1. So x is equal to half, that was positive, x is equal to minus 1. Let's take to the other side, 2x, then 1 comes to the other side, becomes negative, and x plus 1. Multiply here, 2x. Now here it's not x. I'm so sorry. You need to change all this x to y's because they have given in the question as y. Don't do that mistake. Or if you have done it entirely, now you have done all the final answer, then you can just write is u y is equal to x. Then that's fine. If you have written x also. So that's okay. You can just alter it over here. But if you can, just write it as y itself. Is that okay? So it'll be 2y times y is 2y squared. Then we have plus 2y minus y plus, sorry, it's minus 1. Why? Because negative 1 times positive 1 is minus 1. The factors over here would be, factors are plus 2 and minus 1. So here we have 2 times minus 1 is minus 2, and over here we have 1. So it is 2 and minus 1. Look at this. Multiply 2 times minus 1, it's minus 2. Add them up, you will have 1. So that's the answer. And lastly, we have this over here. Instead of x, we have h. That's also fine. Mode phi 3. There is no common term because phi is odd. Now 4, 8, and lastly we have negative 5. The answer is half and minus 5 by 2. So x is equal to half. X is equal to minus 5 divided by 2. Now here this 2 goes to the other side, will be 2x, and 1 to the other side minus 1. And over here again 2x plus 5. Now how do you solve it? Multiply this, it'll be 4. Again I did a mistake, right? X I have written, it should be h. So I will take assume, because I'm just lazy to change it all, x is equal to h. Please don't try to do that. Try to write h itself over here, h, everything. Anyways, I'll just change it. Okay, this is nullified now. You don't need that. So will be 2h times 2h, it's 4h squared. 2h times 5 would be 10h minus 2h minus 5. Now factors are 10, that is positive, and minus 2 and minus 2. So here 4 times 5 is negative 20 because it's negative 5, and over here we have 8. So 10 times minus 2, multiply it, you'll get negative 20, and add it, you will have positive 8. So that is the answer, and that's the final question in this. You can see that's the correct answers. Doesn't matter you write this term first or other term first, that'll be all right. And now we move on to the last third topic in the question 1. That is again to factor, but using differences of squares. Now, what is difference of squares? Let me write the formula. If you have a power 2 minus b power 2, this is given by the identity a plus b, a minus b. This is the formula. Now the same thing, if you have any other terms, say x over here, x squared minus 3 squared, then we can write it as x plus 3, x minus 3. You don't need to factor or anything. You don't. This can be already done. Now, how this can be proven is, it's very simple. X times x, what is it? X squared. X times 3x is minus 3x. 3 times plus x will be plus 3x, and 3 times 3 is minus 9. It's negative over here, negative 3. So this cancels off. You're remaining with x squared minus 9, right? So it's already proven. That's the identity. Now here, you instead of solving it, all that, you directly use the identity, that is difference of squares. Now first step would be writing it in the reduced form. This is already q squared, that's fine. But here it's a single number that can be written in square. How would you solve it? If you can't think of any number which is multiplied itself to give 121, then you can use your calculator. But here, if you know the powers, 11 squared will be 121. Directly you can do it. Otherwise, you can also use your calculator. I'll show you now. All you need to do is go to the computation mode, use this radical symbol, that's square root. 121, what is the answer? It's 11. So 11 squared would be 121. That's it. So now we have written q squared minus 11 squared. That would be equal to q plus 11, q minus 11. Now, if it's in the writing exam, don't just write this answer. First, write the formula. A squared minus b squared equals a plus b, a minus b. This is the identity. And after this only, please write this. Now, what about over here? The identity is not for power 4. It is only for power 2. So now here, what we can do is r squared the whole power 2 minus k squared the whole power 2 is same. Why? Because the powers will be multiplied. It will be 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So here, what would be the answer? I mean, the substitution of the power, it will be inside, whatever is the inside. Now, this was outside square, so we have only q and 11. But here, already we have squared. It's power 4. So, it will be r squared plus k squared. And over here again, r squared minus k squared. But before that, you should write the identity for each problem. I just written once. So please make a habit to write this for every question. Then, now can you see this r squared minus k squared? Again, we can apply the same identity. But if it is plus, no, we don't have any identity for a squared plus b squared. No, this doesn't have. We leave it. That's simplified. Done. We can't do anything further. But here, we take it as r plus k, because what is the below term? It's just r. The squared will be factored out. And over here we have r minus k. If you multiply this, we get this above thing. And if you start multiplying this, we get the above. So that is the simplification for the second one. So you can see here, that is how we get it. Whenever you have any two squares and its subtraction in between, that's difference of squares. Difference is minus, right, of squares. So we have to use the identity and simplify it further. Now what about these? Now here you might be wondering, okay, how can I do this? There are two ways to do this. So you need your calculator for this. Now one way would be just taking square root of 625. That's 25. Or you can even take cube root. So that is like shift, sorry, not cube root, root of power 4, shift and this symbol, right over here 4, because it's power 4, right? 625, that'll give you 5, right? 625, that is 5. So one way would be writing it like this. I'll do both the methods, okay? It's up to you to choose which you want. One is directly like this. So then we write it as w squared the whole squared minus 5 squared the whole squared, that is equal to w squared plus 5 squared, and we have w squared minus 5 squared. Don't forget, we have to continue this further. Left side is done. 5 squared is 25. Done. We can't do anything else. But here we can write it as w plus 5, w minus 5. This is it. Now what about another method? That is w to the power 4 minus, it's 25 squared is 625, right? So I'll write it like this. So here only at the left side I will change w squared the whole power 2 minus 25 the whole squared, and then I split it out. It'll be w squared plus 25 and w squared minus 25. And then this doesn't change. See, we don't have to split it again. Already we got this simplified here, but this one we know is 5 squared, right? So w squared. Now over here it might look bigger, but it's almost the same. Just one time over here, it'll be an extra step. Why? Because 25, I'm writing it as 5 squared. And then w squared plus 25. Here we will have w plus 5, w minus 5. The answer will be the same. It's up to you to choose. I would personally go with this because it's you can easily get this in the calculator and do it. But sometimes students get confused over here what to take, power 4 or something like that. So I just always tell use the square root and you'll get 25, and then also you can solve it. It's up to you. Now what about the next one here? So we have r squared, and this 9 can be written as 3, and t is already squared, so it'll become a whole squared now. Why? Because if you square it up, it'll be 9 and t squared. That's the same thing. So now let me split it out. It'll be r plus 3t. That's one factor. R minus 3t is another factor. That's it. But you need to write the identity and then split it out. So this is how we solve it. Even over here, the same thing. Here now, 256. Let me do using power 4. I'll show in the calculator. Now here in the radical 4 to the power 4, just put 256. The answer is 4. And now what you do is h to the power 4 minus 4 power 4. This can be written as h squared the whole power 2 minus 4 squared to the power 2. It'll be h plus 4. This is all squared. That's done. H squared minus 4 squared. Here we will have h squared plus 4 squared is 16. And here we will have h plus 4, h minus 4. That's it. That's the simplification. Now what about the second one over here? This is like the distributive property which we did long time ago. It's just that here squared is common. We'll take x squared outside. There are 4 terms, right? So we'll take x squared, and what is remaining? 2x minus 1. And over here 81, see, it should be 2x. So I know 81 times 2 is 161. So directly, now don't just take 81. If you take 81, it'll be negative 2x. It's a confusion. So make sure you make this first term positive because it's positive. Almost always you will keep the first term positive. So what we will do is, let's take minus also outside, and then we will take 81. So what is remaining? Minus becomes plus. 162 divided by 81 is 2, and x minus 1 because 81 is gone outside. So this is a x squared minus 81 Now 2x minus 1, that will be the answer. But now it's not over. Why it's not over? Because here you can use the difference of squares, isn't it? This is x squared minus 9 squared. 81 is 9 squared. And then 2x minus 1. So it'll be x plus 9, x minus 9, 2x minus 1. So that would be the final answer. So here you can see it's all simplified, and that's the answer. Similarly, let's solve these. Over here, the second eighth question is just like what we did a while ago, just now, the sixth question. But this one here, the simple x squared minus 2y the whole squared, and then we have x plus 2y, x minus 2y. That's it. Whereas over here, let's take common terms outside. Which terms are common? Only c power 2. And then we have 3c plus 2. That's it, because c is squared is gone outside. And here negative is common. And we can't take 98 because 98 2 times doesn't, it's 196. So it's not 147. But see, it's all very, very close to 50s. So is it 50? 51, 50 times 2 is 100, 150. 1 less than 50 is 49. So it's 49 here because nearest whole number is 50. Then we can see it's 3 times 50. But now 49 times 3 is 147 exactly. Minus 49 is gone. So you're remaining with 3 times c. Why? Because 147 divided by 49 is 3 and c remains. What about over here? 98 divided by 49 is 2. But the minus sign is also removed out, so it'll be plus 2. These two terms must be equal. Now it'll be c squared minus 49. And we have over here 3c plus 2. You can't split this out, but over here, left side, yes, you can split it further. It's going to be c plus 49. Sorry, what am I doing? You should write over here c squared plus, sorry, minus c squared minus 7 squared. Let's do that step. That is very important. And now we will use the formula. It's better to write the formula of a squared minus b squared somewhere in the paper, maybe right side, extreme right or down somewhere, related to that question. It'll be a plus b, a minus b. So we have c plus 7, c minus 7, and we have 3c plus 2. So this is it. That's how we simplify it. And even these problems are just like the same one. I think so they are almost all the same now. You can stop all this, you can skip through whichever problem you want, or you can move to the next question altogether, but I'll just solve all these anyways. Here, what is common? It's only f power 2. So we are remaining with f plus 2, and over here minus, say 64 2 times. I know that it 64 twice is 120 plus 8, so it's 128. I'll just take minus 64 outside, so you'll have f plus 2. Many do the mistake in the sign, so just be very careful with the sign, okay? So f squared minus 64 is one term, and then we have f plus 2. What about this? It'll be f squared minus 8 squared, f plus 2, and over here we have f plus 8, and over here we have f. My f is just changing, so that this alphabet is f, okay? F minus 8, and then we have f plus 2. So that's the answer. Here as well, r squared is common outside. It'll be minus 5, and then we have minus to be taken out, and minus how much? 100. So what's remaining is r minus 5, because minus is removed out. It's plus, changes its sign to minus. Now we have r squared minus 100, and we have r minus 5. So it's r plus r squared minus, let me just write it properly, r squared minus 10 squared. Then we have r minus 5. So we can write it as r plus 10, r minus 10, r minus 5. This is it. So these are the solutions for these both. They're all pretty straightforward. After you understand one problem, then just start solving more by yourself for better understanding. Now here also, see, 7 is a prime number. There's no way you can take that out. I mean, yeah, you can if you have multiples of 7. Sorry, you can take it out if you have multiples of 7, but you have 3 lesser than that, so there's no way it's going to happen. So let's leave that over there. Let's just take t to the power 2 outside. You're remaining with 3t minus 7. Here, let us take minus 1 outside. Why? Because 3t plus 7 is there, but we just need, it's minus 3t plus 7. We just need the opposite signs. So we take minus 1 outside and you're remaining with 3t minus 7. Now it's t squared minus 1. That's one term. And then we have 3t minus 7. Now this is just like writing 1 squared is equal to 1. So it's a squared minus b squared, isn't it? T squared minus 1 squared, 3t minus 7. Now let's split it out. T plus 1, t minus 1, and 3t minus 7. That's it. Here again a simple one, a squared minus 7 squared. That will be a plus 7. A minus 7. You need to write the identity as well, depending on the steps. I wouldn't write the identity for this because it's already plenty steps, but over here, yes, it's very important to write the identity. And that's the answers. And the last two problems. It has been a very long question because there were so many questions over here. I just wanted to solve each one of them. So I mean, if you understand, you can just skip through it. But if you want to go to any particular question, so all are solved, you can go to any one of them. Now here, it's 4 and 9. I'm sure I can't have any common factors. But what can I do is, I can remove m squared. M squared is outside. And then what is remaining? It's 4m plus 9 minus over here. What is common? It's 9, isn't it? 9 4 times and 9 9 times. Yes. So minus 9 is removed outside. It'll be 4m minus plus 9 because minus is outside. And we have m squared minus 9, 4m plus 9. And here we have m squared minus 3 squared and 4m plus 9. Here we get m plus 3, m minus 3. And we have 4m plus 9. That's the final answer. Here we can take x power 2 outside. It will be 3x plus 1. And then minus 25 outside. So you will have 3x plus 1 itself. X squared minus 25 is one factor. And then we have 3x plus 1 as the other factor. This can be written as x squared minus 5 squared 3x plus 1. Now here all you need to do is difference of squares. That is x plus 5, x minus 5, and we are having 3x plus 1 already. So that would be the answer over here, and this is the answer over here. So that's finally the end of question 1, and that's the solutions. If you have any doubts, please do post them in the comments. I've tried to solve all the problems only for the written question part. And if you're finding my videos helpful, please do share it with your friends. Tell your friends about this channel, and please do subscribe to this channel. That would mean so much to me. Thank you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.